They say there are places on the internet that were never meant to be seen, hidden hurls, whispered only on forums where the threads banish minutes after being posted, and one of the most whispered about legions is something called the blank subroom. And before I even dive into what I found, you need to understand that this is not some regular creepypasta story. This is not some chain plus designed to give you goosebumps. This is something I stumbled across when digging too deep on hidden marketplaces, where I was originally just searching for leak archives. But instead, I found an invite linked. Hat didn't look like a market, didn't look like a red room, didn't even look like a file dump. It was just a page with a black background, no title, no though only a blinking cursor with the text "Enter the blank sub-room, do not return," and curiosity made me click. So before you read further, just know this: if you are faint-hearted, close this now. But if you want to know what kind of horrors lurk beyond the casual myths of the dark web, then stay with me and make sure to subscribe to my channel, because what you're about to hear is not only rare, but something you might never be able to read again. Because these words may vanish just like the page itself. The room opened with nothing but white static filling the screen like an old crick television, tuned to no channel, except when I looked closer it wasn't static, it was moving fluid ripples. The entire screen seemed to be made of some shifting, soap-like texture, blank yet alive, and from the corner of the screen layers started to appear slowly, painfully, as if touched by something unseen. You cannot leave once you see. Then the static melted away, revealing a camera. The dimly lit square room walls stained gray as if coated with years of smoke and dampness, and in the middle of the floor stood a table playing metal, upon which sat a bowl filled with a liquid that looked both like soap and like shifting mercury, completely colorless, yet reflective. And I realized why they called it blank soap. It had no color, no ingredient. It's just an endless reflection of whatever stared into it. The camera moved on its own, slowly circling the bowl, and though no one was in sight, I swore I heard the sound, faint slurps like someone drinking, but the bowl never emptied. Instead, it seemed to swell and shrank like a living organism, breathing in sync with me. Suddenly, text appeared over the feed. "Do not blink." I tried to resist, but of course, I blinked, and in that instant, the room changed, or maybe it always had been different. Because now the table was surrounded by chairs, all occupied by faceless mannequins wearing ragged clothes, heads tilted down toward the bowl as if worshipping it. Their bodies were motionless, but their shadows on the wall moved independently, stretching, twitching, some even crawling up the corners of the room like insects. I tried to close the tab, but the cursor was frozen, my keyboard locked, and all I could do was watch. The soap began to bubble, rising higher like it was boiling without heat, and from within its reflective surface, I saw flashes, not my face, not the room, but memories, people screaming, excitements, murders, hospital corridors, unknown voices, whispering in dozens of languages. I didn't understand each word, echoing directly in my skull as though bypassing sound entirely. My chest tightened, I couldn't breathe. Then the camera zoomed in too close into the bowl itself until I was falling into it, submerged, drowning. Yet my lungs burned as if it was real, and I swear I felt my hands wet even though I was just staring at a laptop screen. The feed went black. For a moment, I thought it was over, but then my webcam light turned on by itself, the feed restarted, and now it was me on the screen, sitting in my own room, the same angle as my laptop camera, except behind me in the reflection stood one of the faceless mannequins from the blank sub-room that's here. Tilting slowly to the side as if it had crawled out of a feed into reality, I spun around, but nothing was there. The room empty, and yet, when I looked back to the screen, the mannequin was closer, directly over my shoulder, its hand reaching toward me. I slammed the laptop shut, pulled the cord toward the battery, but even with the mannequin dead, I could still hear the faint, wet slurp of something drinking from a bottomless bowl. For nights afterward, I dreamed only of that room, and every time I woke, I would find damp handprints smeared across my desk, pale and human, but larger than my own. They say the blank sub-room is not a video, not a stream, but a doorway, and once you witness it, part of you stays trapped there, feeding it forever, and that's why the mannequins Never move, they are not mannequins at all, they are previous viewers. Souls frozen myths if forced to watch, forced to drink their reflections erased into blankness. I don't know how long I have before I become one of them before someone else stumbles on my feet and sees me sitting silently at the table, head bowed over the endless blank. So, but if you ever see a lanked if you ever see a blinking cursor asking you to enter the blind soap room, do not click it. And if you are already reading this, then maybe it's already too late. Because just by knowing of it, you've opened the door in your mind. And tonight, when you sleep, you might just hear the sound too, the same dripping, endless slurping in the dark. And if you don't ever look behind you, because some thing faceless will be waiting with a bowl that never empties, this was my only warning. And if you value your sanity, you'll share this, like and subscribe, because spreading it might be the only way to pass the curse forward before it consumes me whole. Then maybe by the time you've finished listen into this, you'll start to notice your reflection in the screen isn't quite matching your movements, as if it too has started drinking from somewhere else, somewhere blind, somewhere deep inside the sup that never ends.